him speaking out will begin to hurt his longevity in the acting industry, right? Because normally when somebody starts speaking out, they start to get excommunicated and they start to get out of there, and you don't see them in the movies no more. They get blackballed because they begin to expose agendas, right? So Tyrese calls out Hollywood and exposes the devil. So a couple of months ago, Tyrese was on a promo tour for Fast X, or is it Fast X or Fast, whatever, Fast X, the 10th movie in the series, right? Tyrese was on a promo tour for that movie a couple of months ago, and he was at Big Boy's Neighborhoods radio show out in LA, popular radio show, right? And they were talking about family and how Tyrese grew up, and Tyrese started, preaching the gospel. He started talking about Jesus. He started talking about, God will give you the desires of your heart. He started talking about your relationship with Jesus. And then he takes a pivot and he starts saying that, that the kingdom of God is somewhat in competition right now with the devil, right? And how the devil is on the main stage, and how the devil, and we're going to watch the clip, but how the devil's on the main stage, and it's very blatant and things of that nature, right? And I wanted to talk about that. I know this is weeks past, but I still wanted to talk about it, right? Content lasts forever. So just because I'm a couple weeks late don't mean I still can't chime in and talk about it now, right? Some of you may not have even seen it yet, right? And this may give you a different perspective, or, just add to what everybody else has out there, right? So let's watch the clip.
Something that I want everybody who can hear this interview to know. As much as I'm supposed to be promoting this movie and talking about my album, I just feel like we're in competition right now because they are trying to normalize the devil. They are trying to the devil is on the main stage at award shows and in every video and signs and symbols. And I said, you know what? We need to stop treating our relationship with Jesus like the little buddy that you talk to before you go to bed at night, and not be more vocal about all the things that God means to us and all of the things that God has brought us through. Because there's been a lot of moments that you didn't post about.
Mm-hmm.
But yet how did God decide to get me through this?
Yeah, man.
And they going above and beyond to promote the devil. And it's pissing me off because the devil worshipers used to be real secretive, going down in the basement, this secret world. Now they
they on the device too.
Yeah,
believe that. Yeah. I do want to come back and I want to talk.
And Big Boy just cut him off, right? And man, I do want to talk about this. Interviewers, there's a skill when it comes to interviewing where you could change the subject really quickly, and he changed the subject so fast, it was hilarious. So you saw him mention, you saw him mention all those things, right? So, and it seems like Big Boy might have been uncomfortable with talking about the whole devil thing, and he's just, yeah, man, it's on the main stage, but I'm trying to talk about this though, right? So I was genuinely surprised when I saw Tyrese just openly just exposing the devil's agenda and the enemy's agenda right now as it pertains to the culture and things of that nature, right? I was genuinely surprised. One reason why I was genuinely surprised is because Tyrese is a huge actor. He's been a part of that Fast franchise, Fast and Furious franchise, for over 10 years, right? Since the early 2000s, right? He's been a part of that franchise, right? So it's why, and that franchise is arguably the biggest movie franchise in all of movie franchises. The movie has generated $800 million, right? $1 billion, right? This movie has generated massive amounts of money, right? That franchise has generated billions of dollars, right? It's a huge Hollywood empire. It's a huge Hollywood production, right? So when one of the lead actors on the franchise in Hollywood, and it's a mainstay, it's a huge cash cow, right? This is not somebody who's like, somebody over there who ain't acted in a movie in 10 years saying something about the industry. This is somebody who's active in the movie industry. There's another, I guess they're saying it's another part to the Fast on the way. They're continuing to make these movies. That's a huge franchise, and you got one of your leading men talking out about the industry, you know. So it very surprised me. Tyrese has always been vocal about his belief in Jesus, and you see his association with like Jonathan McReynolds and John Gray and all these different people. He was talking about Kim Burrell in the interview, right? So he's always had this association with people who are of the Christian faith, and always been vocal about his Christian faith. But that was the thing that surprised me. It's like, man, you in that industry, and you a big homie in that industry. You're not a little homie, you a big homie in that industry, and you're being vocal and you're expressing your faith, one, but then two, you're exposing the enemy's agenda. He talked about, you know, the award stage and, you know, the main stage on award shows, things of that nature. That was a nod, I believe, when the interview came out. This was a nod to talking about Sam Smith, and he has a song out called Unholy, right? And it was a performance. And I never watched it, but I seen like a screen grab, and I put a screen grab on the screen of like the performance. It was all red and it was dark and everything like that nature, right? And Hollywood a lot of the times plays with the devil like he's a toy, right? In the interview, he said we need to stop playing with Jesus like he's just this little thing, you know, toy before we go to bed at night and things of that nature, right? Which I resonate with, one, but two, the fact also remains that people play with Satan like he a toy, right? People play with, like we talked about with the whole Damson Idris thing with the devil and him saying, "Come on, devil," and things of that nature. He was playing with the devil and he was tormented for weeks after the fact, right? So you have that, and that comes on the heels after this whole Tyrese thing comes out. But you have Damson Idris over here playing with it, right? And then you have Tyrese exposing it, right? And then there's even a television show called Little Demons that's on FX, right? And there's first season out. I thought it was canceled, right? But they haven't begun production on season 2. But it's a show called Little Demons, and it's a show about a woman being impregnated by Satan and having an antichrist daughter. Like what? Like what type of sick and twisted world are we in where we're creating TV shows, comedy? However, you're creating 6 TV show comedies that make fun at somebody getting impregnated by the devil and being the Antichrist's daughter. Like what? Like it's just wild, right? So you see the devil being on the main stage. You see the devil being promoted blatantly, right? And Tyrese is just exclaiming that we should promote our faith even harder. Now I wonder if him exposing the enemy like he did will harm his career any, right? Like I said, he's a big homie in the movie industry. That franchise is huge. That franchise is worth billions of dollars, right? So I wonder if him speaking out will begin to hurt his longevity in the acting industry, right? Because normally when somebody starts speaking out, they start to get excommunicated and they start to get out of there, and you don't see them in the movies no more. They get blackballed because they begin to expose agendas, right? So I wonder if Tyrese exposing this demonic agenda will have a negative effect on his acting career, right? As we know, like you said, he believed in Jesus, right? So I'm sure it'll be all good either way. But I wonder if, and this is a good timestamp, this happened a couple of months ago, 6-8 weeks ago. This happened, I want to say. So it's a good timestamp to see, okay, well, if we see something by the end, if we don't hear from Tyrese in terms of new movies and things of that nature, we can say that interview and that clip was a pretty good chance of, or telling us that he got blackballed. So you let me know how you feel in the comment section below. Do you see the same things that Tyrese and I are seeing, where the devil is being promoted blatantly on the main stages, right? That's been nothing new. Like the devil been promoted on these award shows for years. I stopped watching them years ago after they stopped being fun and they started getting corny. I stopped watching them years ago. But the devil has been promoted on these shows for years, right? So that's nothing new. Artists still promote them. Artists still vibe and bop with them. A little Uzi Vert, all that stuff. They still vibe and play with the idea of Satan, things of that nature. But Satan is not a toy, right? So you let me know how you feel in the comments below. Do you feel like Tyrese was just in his explanation, right? And then how do you feel about the culture blatantly, participating in satanic culture? Let me know in the comments. Let's talk about it.